G'day guys, Keithy. Just thought I'd do up a quick vid and thank you for the prompts for me to do this video. So today it's going to be about the Snorkel on my P38 Range Rover. I'll give you a rundown on what's gone into it to make it happen, how much it costs, and any issues that I've encountered while running it, and hopefully you can do the same. So here it is in all its glory. P38 Range Rover Snorkel. Something that not a lot of people have done and done right. We'll start in the airbox. You can see it's not much different from factory there. Just bar a few little nips and tucks. Obviously the stainless has to come through and reduce down to this size for the job to be well done. And it's all sealed in there. You can't see because I've got the loom for my air spring valves that go over to here, running through there, so that's a bit hard to see. What I will point out though is that is the drain, the water drain for this airbox. It's a standard P38 drain, and I recommend you leave that in there. You'll see that there's been a bit of water in here, but it hasn't come from wading. It's actually come through the Snorkel. Now I'll explain that a bit better. You see my airbox lid there, modified a little bit for that air compressor. That's gone very well, by the way. So we'll start from here. We've got a 90 coming out of the airbox. Note the clearance between the body and the fact that it runs pretty much along this quarter panel line, level with where the bonnet joins the quarter panel. You can do it however you want. Obviously this is just a guide. Rib nuts straight through the panel there, nothing special, bit of rubber to stop rubbing and vibration. On my previous version, on my blue Range Rover, that was actually bolted down to these panel bolts to keep the Snorkel secure. What it meant was that this had quite a long length and potential flex. So you can see that's quite rigid there. It's secured quite nicely in through here. Now because of the shape of the bonnet, you can't just hug the body, unfortunately, because as you go up, the bonnet sort of has that weird angle on the clamshell. You need to dodge that. So that's why you've got to stay away from the body there. You can't hug it. Also makes it easy to clean when you're going to wash the car. Nice little join there. Goes right up to the roof, where again it's roof nutted to the roof. And you'll see that there is nothing as daylight all the way down, because this trim panel here has to come off. If you change your windscreen in these things, that panel has to come off. So whatever you do, don't go chucking nuts and bolts through that little trim, because it'll mean you've got to take your Snorkel off every time you've got to change the windscreen. Up top, you'll see the head is angled back towards the rear of the car a bit, almost 45 degrees there, and it's tapered back. Now this is to reduce the effect of rain coming into the Snorkel head, but the taper, the 45 degree angle towards the rear of the car, is also to stop mud. I mean, you can see, where is it, just here? There's remnants of mud that's flicked up when I've been forward driving. Now if it was facing straight back like that, these tyres are going to kick up some mud because they've got a fair bit of bloody tread on them, and that mud's going to go straight into there, down into your airbox, wherever else it could block up in here. You know what mud is like once it hardens. Now I've got a sock on here. A lot of you will be going, what the hell have you got a sock on the end of your Snorkel for, you dickhead? That's to stop rainwater from coming in. What I found out on my previous one, which was a 3-inch stainless Snorkel, and this one, which is 4 inches, is that when it's torrential rain, and I'm talking lots and lots of rain, the big lungs on the 4.6, it sucks water straight in there without problem, even if there's a taper on the head. And what I found by putting a sock on there is the water hits the sock and runs down and drains off. It's just one way to prevent getting water in there, and that is the reason that you will see a little bit of dirty water in there, is because it's pelted down with rain. And I've come home from a trip without the sock on and managed to get enough water in this airbox that it drenched my air filter and snuffed the motor out. Luckily it didn't suck it past there, but yeah, it was enough to make the engine stop running by itself without ingesting water. So I was very thankful for that. And I highly recommend you keep that drain in there. If you do a snorkel, seal everything else up, seal all the pipe work through here, make sure that's dandy, because you don't want to go through a water crossing and fill this up with water from the front of the car. You want that water, if anywhere, to come through that snorkel. I can tell you now that this doesn't ingest water through deep crossings. I've been up to window depth in multiple crossings and opened the lid after the crossings, and there's been no water in there at all. So that's a bit of an insight as to what's going on in here. See if I can look in there for you. You can have a look in. You probably won't see anything. I can't see anything. So that's it, guys. It's not the prettiest thing to look at, but it's a lot better than the terra firma one, I'll give you that. And it's very functional, and having the 4-inch, it's a lot quieter air velocity noise than what the 3-inch was. So if you're going to do it once, do it right, guys. I recommend the 4-inch. So guys, I just wanted to say thanks for pushing me to get that done. There's a few of you have been asking what it's all about, so yeah, now I've done that video. I hope more of you get out and do it. I think they're a great thing, and the terra firma snorkel, and no offense to terra firma, because they do make some good products, but it's shit. It looks atrocious, and granted, that stainless one that's on my Range Rover isn't the prettiest thing around, but it's a darn sight better looking, and it works, and it's got a good volume. So if you've done engine swaps, LS motors, things like that, then it'll probably work. There's plenty of volume there, even for turbocharged motors. I want to see a few more, and if you guys have got any ideas for things you want me to knock up a video on, I'll get to it. Still working on the 2-inch suspension one. There's one more thing I've got left to do on that before I'm happy to put up a video. And same with the tyre review. I'm just waiting for the right time. As you can see, it's lovely out there, but it's also 35 degrees and about 90% humidity. So it's quite hot to be taking the wheels off my car right now. We'll get there. Hopefully we'll have some cool days soon. But thanks very much, and I'll see you around the traps. Happy New Year, guys. It's not even that deep.